Hi everyone, I am back with another emote tutorial video. This video is part of a multi-part series on how I draw emotes in a set. So this might come in handy if you want to draw multiple emotes that look more cohesive, like they belong to one type of theme or series. Apologies on how long editing this video took. I am not the best video editor and sometimes it just takes a lot of effort to edit. So really sorry, but here's part one. Let's get started. We're going to create a canvas that is 500 pixels by 500 pixels, and then you're going to choose a color for your sketch. And the brush I use here is the Jing Sketch Basics Sketch Round, and you can find that in the caption below. For this project, I was tasked to draw around 8 to 9 emotes. The commissioner gave me very specific emotes that they were looking for. A lot of them were like typical emotes that you would want in kind of like a starter pack. So the first one that I'm drawing is the GG emote, which gives you a generic GG emote when you first become affiliated, I believe, but it's very plain and everyone else has the same one. So they asked to have this one drawn where their character would be holding a sign that said GG. This is really important if you're ever drawing emotes for someone else, to ask what they're looking for, especially in the emotes that they're asking for. The more specific they can be, the easier it makes your job and your life. So if you know exactly what you want to draw for your emotes, it actually saves you a lot of time just when you're brainstorming and sketching, and your sketches don't have to look perfect or nice. As you can see, mine look pretty scuffed, and this is literally how most of my emotes start out. One thing you could do as you're drawing emotes is to rotate and mess around with different shapes. You can even flip the canvas or even rotate your character, resize it, make it bigger or smaller to see how it fits. Usually the first emote that I draw takes the longest because I'm trying to figure out the shape of the character. But this one particularly, I struggled a lot with just the hands and the placement of the sign. It was definitely hard fitting the character and the sign to make sure everything stood out, especially when you send it as an emote because it's so small. But it kind of turned out okay, I think. I'm going to casually share with you the emotes that I was requested to draw, so you can see the commissioner outlines pretty clearly what they're looking for. So this next emote that I'm drawing is hype, and they specifically asked for both arms up, and so that's what I was trying to show when I was making this sketch. And you'll notice I always start off with a circle. That helps you define just how big the head is going to be, and then you can add in like the cheeks and the facial features and hair afterwards. So just remember, your sketch is not supposed to be perfect. It is meant to be scuffed. But as long as you can show what you want that emote to look like, or like what emotion this emote is supposed to portray, and your commissioner or even yourself, you can tell, then it's good enough because you can fix it when you outline it and color. One thing you'll notice when I'm drawing these emotes, which belong to a set, is that I'm doing them all in one single Procreate file, except I'm just drawing these emotes on different layers. So this is really helpful for when you need to reference back to like, oh, how did I draw the hair for this emote, or how did I draw the eyes? It's a good reference point that you can look back at, and so I recommend doing your sketches on one file, and then when you start coloring and start outlining, you can copy that layer onto a new file and just focus on that emote that you want to color. And so you'll notice as we go through the video, some emotes I'm a lot faster at sketching and some of them take a lot longer. Depends on how comfortable I am with drawing that expression. So with Pog, it's quite simple because I've done quite a few Pog emotes, and so the mouth and the eyes are always pretty similar, and so that one was pretty quick for me, whereas the GG emote took a while. You'll notice that even for this cry emote, it doesn't take me as long as it did for the hype and GG emotes, and it's because I've done quite a few crying sad emotes, and so I kind of know what I want the face and expression to look like and how I want the tears to come out of the eyes and what the eyes are supposed to look like. I know this one looks a little bit scary, but I did adjust it after I sent it to my commissioner. And I also resize emotes, so I'll do them smaller or more zoomed out, and then once I'm done with drawing the facial expression, I will expand the sketch so that I can see how the emote fits against the canvas, because I want to make sure that I am making the most out of the space on the canvas size with the emote that I have designed. Okay, that's enough talking for me for now. You can just watch my process for the next 1 or 2 emotes, and then I will come back to share some other tips. This was one of the emotes that took me a little longer to sketch. It was just hard to get the eye expression right because it was supposed to be like a WTF or a surprised face. And so I think you can tell that I spend a bit of time just on the facial expression and the mouth just to get it right. But just remember, because we're drawing these in one set, we want to make sure that the hair and the eyes are all consistent and similar. Of course, part of that will also come down to how you color it, and so having a color palette that you create, which I will share more in my next video, will definitely help making sure that your shading, hair color, skin color, and everything is consistent. Sometimes you will get an emote idea where you think in theory it's a very great idea and you want to incorporate the entire concept on your canvas, but it might not necessarily fit on your canvas simply because of the different components that you might have in the emote and how big your canvas size is. And so when it comes to doing like an emote that you're not the most comfortable with, you can always either say no to your commissioner, you can give it a try and just do a rough sketch of what it would look like, and if it doesn't look good, you can recommend like oh, this doesn't look good, but maybe you can do a different design instead. And the reason why I didn't go with this design is because they wanted a flying one, but it didn't make sense to not incorporate the entire body because it was supposed to represent a bird, and so that made it a little difficult to fit onto one canvas, and it's going to look so tiny if I were to color and finish this as an emote. And so what I did instead is I drew a wave emote, or like a high emote, in place of this one, so that they could at least compare which one they wanted to pick and have me color. And a wave or high emote is quite standard, and so usually it's just one giant hand that looks like it's waving with a smiley face. So that one didn't take me as long, but the flying one, conceptualizing and sketching it, took me a little longer. Once you're done with all your designs, I highly recommend that you export it, and then what I did was I put all the images onto one Word document. I resized all of the sketches so that they're smaller, and I sent it as a screenshot to my commissioner so that they could see all the emotes next to each other side by side so that they can pick the one that they want, or they can give me feedback on what they want to change for each emote. That's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful learning about how I do my sketches when I'm drawing emotes in a set. If you did find it helpful, please give me a like, subscribe, or comment. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I do try my best to answer whenever I can, so don't be afraid to ask. Thanks for watching!